Na msivunjwe moyo na wale watu mnaona wakishangilia Kondele. We have only one problem in Kenya, and that problem is poverty. They are misusing our youth because of poverty. These youths wanamaliza form 4, wanamaliza college, they cannot get jobs. They cannot even get money to come and buy an Uber. So most of them are in the ghettos. We are in Haiti trying to solve a problem, but that problem is coming to Kenya because 80% of the Kenyan population is below the age of 35, and most of them don't have jobs. That is why wanaiba simu. Ndio maana wana participate kwa carjackings. Wamewapatia nyinyi shida na wamenipea mimi shida. Because these people don't have opportunities. We must show direction. And nobody should tell us that we are too young to lead. I am 28 years old and I'm not too young to lead.
Allah. Allah.
We are not too young to lead. We know what our country needs, and luckily we are not tribal, and luckily we are not corrupt.
Morara Kebaso has come out to strongly hint out that don't fear the crowds you saw during President William's Ruto rally in Kisumu, suggesting that the people and politicians are misusing poverty. A lot of young Kenyans are very poor, and some politicians have mastered the art of utilizing this. Where they come, they hire them for as low as 200 shillings so that they can grace events, crowds, and cause dismay wherever needed. We saw what happened in Bomas of Kenya, and latest casualty being Mr. Rigathi Gachagua, who also faced the same kind of pressure in his own turf of Mount Kenya. And that begs the question, why are some politicians misusing the youths? Because the youths never came out to go somewhere. They must have been mobilized. And indeed, as the ground of Mount Kenya dictates, it's very hostile. They have already moved away from President William Ruto's camp. But now Morara Kebaso alleges that as the country is moving forward, politicians need to stop misusing the youth and making them work for jobs which are demeaning, such as goonism.
Ourselves on that, and it needs to that majority in both houses. That is the National Assembly, but also, Honorable Speaker, the Senate. And we, first of all, had to find a pathway that even before we talk about the content, we needed to be sure that the pathway after the conclusion of the mediation committee will be anchored in law and will be anchored in the documents that you've already passed. To cut the long story short is that, Honorable Speaker, in terms of the pathway, the mediation report that we are passing today, Honorable Speaker, has a figure of 387 billion Kenya shillings. Last financial year, Honorable Speaker, the shareable revenue to our counties was around 385 billion Kenya shillings. But Honorable Speaker, the version that we amended in this house after what happened in the country in July is that we actually passed here 380 billion Kenya shillings. But in the budget now, it appears like the counties are getting 410 billion Kenya shillings. In the previous one that we passed, Honorable Speaker. But this is so because there were carryovers of 30 billion Kenya shillings, Honorable Speaker, and therefore the shareable revenue of 380 plus the 30 carryovers, that is what now reflects in the current budget of Kenya shillings, 410 billion shillings. Honorable Speaker, I'm saying this so that members can also appreciate also the figure that we have and also the modalities around it. But then, this is the issue, Honorable Speaker. The version that we are passing today, and I'm beseeching this House to pass, reflects a figure of 387 billion shillings. But, Honorable Speaker, the appropriations bill that we passed, that is supplementary one, shows that that figure is 380 billion. Honorable Speaker, we also have CARA.
On that same note, Mr. Ndidi Nyoro, the MP for Kiaru and the National Assembly Budget Committee Chair, has come out to say that sometime when we are deliberating issues of national interest, especially division of revenue, we are not here to pull side, rather we are here to formulate rules and regulations which must benefit us all. It seems that the National Assembly in the last days has really focused much on politics rather than legislation and formulation of good policies. We have seen even people like Jimmy Wanjigi come out to say that some of this debt which Kenya is borrowing is supposed to be approved by the National Assembly. And since the National Assembly that has not approved majority of these loans, thus stamps them as illegal, and Kenyans might be paying illegal debt as he alleged, because these monies cannot be traced to development.